The real question for me is now where do the Mets pivot with more injuries on the horizon? The season can't start fast enough. We're going to break down the latest injuries, what Carlos Mendoza has to say, what Anthony DiComo is reporting next on MetCast. What's going on, Met fans? Welcome back to another episode of MetCast. Again, if you're enjoying this content, I just ask you to like and subscribe. So today you wake up and you see that another injury for the New York Mets and more bad news in the outfield. But let's start off with the first injury that we're hearing about. Jeff McNeil. Carlos Mendoza had some comments on him. Let's give it a look.
What are your options at second base with McNeil gone?
Yeah, because we don't feel like this is a long term. We like the options we got here. Whether it's Beatty, Acuna, Walton, De Los Santos, the guys that we got here in camp that we're competing for that last spot. Now there's two spots. So yeah, that's it.
That is not something that I want to hear as a New York Mets fan. So now we have this over at SNY. Pretty much you have Jeff McNeil is guaranteed to start the opening day on the IL. It's another injury to another starter. I think this means that it's a lock. For me, it's a lock that Brett Beatty and Acuna are going to make this team. And you figure they were playing for the last roster spot. Now they're probably both going to make this team. And then we have this from Anthony DiComo. Brandon Nimmo, right knee soreness, is back in the Mets lineup today for the first time in 13 days. He had received gel injections in his knee and now comes through to ramp up for opening day. But then I went on to see that the New York Mets plan to be precautious with him. And now supposedly Brandon Nimmo is having soreness from those gel injections. He's going to try his best, but I saw a report that they're going to have to monitor him throughout the entire season in regard to this soreness that he is experiencing. And it's really tough. Good thing we brought in a guy like Jesse Winker. We swung and missed on Teoscar Hernandez, but the Mets could be in real trouble. We're going to be relying on guys like Brett Beatty to probably play a little second base, a little in left field. I'm assuming Acuna, if he makes his team, and I'm pretty sure now he's a lock to make this team, he's going to get the first chance to start at second base because if we know anything, guys like David Stearns prioritize defense up the middle. And you might have one of the best defenses up the middle in regard to second short in center field with Siri Lindor and Acuna. And we'll see who gets the first crack in left field, whether it's Brett Beatty or Winker. I assume it's going to be, I'm assuming that it's going to be Jesse Winker, but somebody's got to fill in for that DH position as well. It's very unfortunate. Think of all the injuries that we have to start the year. You could just go down the line. Your ace in Sean Manaea, your fifth starter in Frankie Montas. You have Daniel Nunez coming back off an injury. He's still not 100%. You have now Jeff McNeil, a lock to hit the opening day IL. You have Brandon Nimmo with the foot and the knee out in left field. There's a lot of injuries to go around on this team. Oh, and Francisco Alvarez is going to miss the first probably month or two of the season. This spring training has been devastating for New York teams. You can look across town in the Bronx. They are dealing with these same injuries. I don't know about the rest of MLB baseball, but this is very concerning because as a team, we are not so young. Let's be honest. Lindor's in his 30s. McNeil's in his 30s. Nimmo's in his 30s. Pete Alonso's 30. And you're starting to see some of these guys break down. Dare I say that? Frankie Montas has been a career injury-plagued player. That's why I was not a fan of the signing off the top. But I give the benefit of the doubt to David Stearns. We'll see what happens with that. But I will say this. He's going to miss a ton of time. And now he's not going to get that exclusive access to that pitching lab. So maybe the Mets keep him down extended spring training or in the minors to get those rehab starts. But then you look at guys like Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo's body's clearly starting to break down on him. That's just a fact. He's been injured often throughout his entire career, and now he's dealing with the plantar fasciitis. He's going to have that the rest of his career. So I'm wondering now if the Mets are going to reach outside the organization in regard to catcher. Obviously, David Stearns came out and said that he likes the options that we have in-house at the catching position, but what else is he going to say? I'm going to explore other options. You don't want to hurt your hand. The New York Mets do have a top 12 farm system. You saw the top 10 rankings recently come out per MLB.com. They have the pieces to make things happen. I don't see the Mets acquiring a pitcher, obviously. Good thing that we're starting to see guys like who I think is going to get a shot at the bullpen. Max Kranick topping out at 96. He's dealing out there. Guys like Paul Blackburn, even though we understand it's spring training, it really doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's good to see a guy like Paul Blackburn showing out with those perfect innings yesterday, dueling and pitching really well. And then on another note, you have the Mets top 5 prospect, Nolan McLean, throwing wiffle balls out there, striking guys out left and right. So I'm just glad to see that this organization finally has built those depth pieces that we've needed for so long. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments who you think should get the first nod at second base, whether it's Luis Angel Acuna or Brett Beatty. And what are the plans for Brandon Nimmo? Are you going to DH him a ton early in the offseason? I'm really interested to see what you guys say. As always, I'll be interacting with you guys down in the comments. And again, if you like this content, I ask you to like and subscribe. And as always, let's go Mets. Take care.